Good evening, this is Left, Right and Centre. I'm Nidhi Razdan. Well, high drama and ugly scenes in the national capital today after an army veteran committed suicide over the non-payment of his pension. This led to unprecedented political clashes today and a police crackdown. Rahul Gandhi and Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal along with Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodiya were all detained by police as they tried to go to the hospital to meet the family of the ex-serviceman who took his own life. In all of this, charges have flown thick and fast. Has the government and the police completely mishandled this situation today? Is the BJP on the back foot, or is the opposition just playing politics as the BJP alleges? That's the big question we're asking tonight. Well, just a little while earlier, Rahul Gandhi was released from detention. He was detained not once but twice today by the Delhi police, and Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has been detained and he continues to be detained. Manish Sisodiya was let out just a little while earlier. Let's listen in to what Rahul Gandhi, the Congress Vice President, said when he was out.
मैंने उनसे पूछा क्यों डिटेन किया है, कारण क्या है, इन्होंने क्या गलती की है, आप मुझे बताइए। मेरी बात नहीं है, मुझे आप अरेस्ट करना है कर दीजिए, मगर इन्होंने क्या गलती की है कि आपने इनको ऐसे दिन पे यहां बंद करके रखा हुआ है। पुलिस वाला कहता है मुझे ऊपर से ऑर्डर आया है, मैं तो सिर्फ अपना काम कर रहा हूं, मुझे अरेस्ट कर दिया गया। अब मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रही है क्या मैंने उनसे कंडोलेंस करने की गलती की, क्या कि मैंने गलती की, क्या मैं एक जवान के पास गया, जवान के परिवार के पास गया और मैंने कहा भैया आपको कष्ट हुआ है, आपको दुख हुआ है, मैं आपके साथ खड़ा हूं, क्या मैंने गलती की है? ओआरओपी को ठीक तरीके से किया जाए और इस परिवार की जो 2-3 मांगे हैं उनको एक्सेप्ट की जाए।
Well, the man who took his own life was Subedar Grewal. Ramkishan Grewal was his name. He was 65 years old. And when you hear his story, it's even more heartbreaking because he made one last phone call to his son after swallowing some tablets that ultimately took his life. And in this phone call, he spells out to his son why exactly he's taken this extreme step.
मैंने भोजन खा लिया, ठीक है,
योग के
भाई योग किए करे नहीं, हमारे साथ में अनर्थ हो रहा है, हमारे जवानों के साथ में अनर्थ हो रहा है, हमारे जवानों को वो नहीं मिला, क्या बोलते हैं, न्याय नहीं मिला, अनर्थ हो रहा है, तो वही देर से देखा नहीं गया। मैं अपने वसूलों का आदमी हूँ, मेरे जवानों के लिए, मेरे देश के लिए, मेरी मातृभूमि के लिए मैं वो अपने आप के जीवन में छोड़ कर दिया। हम तो नहीं बैठी साड़े से, ठीक है,
आप हिम्मत हार गए, ठीक है,
तू रहने देना, तू अगर ना करो तो ना की।
You can hear his son choking up as he listened to his father giving him this shocking message, and it is Subedar Grewal's suicide now that has become the biggest flashpoint today here in the national capital. This drama not quite over because Arvind Kejriwal, the Delhi Chief Minister, is still under detention. We have Pawan Khera, member of the Congress party, here in the studio with us. Shahid Siddiqui, commentator and journalist, will be shortly joined by the rest of our panel. Shahid Siddiqui, how is this going to play out politically? I mean, this police action in a way unprecedented. It's not that political leaders haven't gone to hospitals to visit families of victims in the past. How do you think this is going to play out?
I mean, one thing is very clear, that this government seems to be extremely nervous and it has lost confidence in itself, because when a government, I mean, to say that they are doing politics, of course they will do politics. It's the job of the opposition to do politics, but you fight politics by politics, not by police. If you start fighting politics by police, that means you are on a very, very weak wicket, and the way it's going to play out is that the BJP government, Modi government, which was trying to build up itself as the biggest nationalist party, the party which for the first time has given the strength and the position to the Indian army, they were using it politically in Uttar Pradesh. They will be losing that ground on which they were building whole this edifice of, you know, nationalism and patriotism, which was, and in fact they were doing all politics in the name of the army. And now they are accusing the Aam Aadmi Party, and you cannot stop the chief minister, elected chief minister of a state, from visiting a veteran's family in the hospital. You cannot stop the leader of the opposition from doing that. If you do that, that means you have lost confidence in yourself. You do not have the strength to fight them.
Well, you know, we were talking about this, Pawan, that if they had let this happened and let the leaders just meet the family and gone, it wouldn't even have been a big story, and it's become this big thing. But I just want to read out to viewers what Ministry of Defence sources have told journalists in the last 30 minutes. They are saying that the case of the ex-serviceman who had served in the Territorial Army, in his case, there was a problem in receiving his pension because of problems in the calculation at his bank's end. But they've also raised questions about his suicide and said there needs to be a serious investigation about who was with him when he took the extreme step, who provided the poison, and if anybody may have taken advantage of his troubled mind to provoke him to take the extreme step. This is what the MOD is putting out tonight.
Nidhi, I didn't know this. This is bizarre. This is not just bizarre, this is shocking. When Rohit Vemula commits suicide, they say he is not a Dalit. When Akhlaq gets killed, they say, well, that was beef. Now, when this Subedar Sahib commits suicide, they say, no, somebody was instigating him. His pension, the papers are not in order. I mean, what is this going on? His mind. Now, VK Singh, for God's sake, do you expect this from a guy who's led this army, this glorious army? He comes and says that there is something wrong with his mind, the mental state of the gentleman who committed suicide.
No, he doesn't say that. He says we don't know what his mental state was.
What is he trying to imply? Why is he even trying to say that?
No, because somebody who takes the extreme step of taking their life, to give General VK Singh the benefit of the doubt, he's only saying we don't know under what circumstances, what he was thinking.
I'm sorry, but they should know. He was driven to it. He was desperate. Talk about that. Don't talk about his mental state. I mean, you are insulting the family of the person who committed suicide, his memory. Why?
General Raj Kardian, Lieutenant General Raj Kardian, who's the former Deputy Chief of Army Staff and has also been chairman of the OROP movement, joins us tonight. General Kardian, a very sad day today. Certainly, on all of this politics, what has happened to Subedar Grewal has got lost. How do you see this, sir? How do you see and how this has played out?
It's a very sad development. I still can't comprehend that a man who had put in 30 years in the army, had been trained in all the resilient qualities, finally gave up. Army teaches to fight on against all odds. But it is very sad. Second part, I think I heard his audio on another channel. He looked absolutely normal and composed. So I don't think that apprehension that somebody else may have smuggled in and may have given him the poison. I think he was very much in his senses in doing what he did, which was very unfortunate. Now, let me quickly tell you what OROP is all about. OROP is not about increase in pensions. OROP is about equality of pension between the old pensioners and the new pensioners, as long as the rank is the same and total service is the same. When OROP finally came about, the maximum difference between old and new was in a sepoy, that is the lowest rank. Less than that was the Nayak, even lesser was Havaldar. At the Subedar's rank, to which Subedar Grewal belonged, there was very little difference. So he might have felt, look, others have got so much of money, I haven't got it. But that is, OROP was all about equality. If the old and new are equal, then difference doesn't make a difference. So that is the unfortunate part. The man is gone. Unfortunately, there has been too much of politicization. We have been requesting in the last 5-6 weeks, ever since the surgical strike took place, keep the army, veterans are a limb of the army only, keep them out of politics. I even held a rally on 10th October to request the country that do what you feel like in the Parliament House or between the opposition and the ruling, but don't use the military as a pawn for your political games. Otherwise, this is not good for the security and safety of the country, not in national interest. I would repeat that request to all the political leaders, keep the military out of that arena.
Absolutely, and as you pointed out, you don't believe that what the Ministry of Defence sources are putting out is a fair statement about whether somebody actually handed Subedar Grewal the poison or helped him in any way in order to take this extreme step. Let me just, before we get the BJP on, we're still waiting for Shazia Ilmi to Harobi to be up. But Raghav Chadha, we were with you earlier this evening, and as we speak, the Delhi Chief Minister is still under detention. The Delhi police, in its defense, Raghav says that they did this because medical services were being put at risk. There was complete chaos, and these were hospitals that were being affected, and that's why the political leaders had to be detained. Your response?
Nidhi, I wasn't born in June 1975, and therefore I never saw the emergency. But thanks to Shri Narendra Modi, I have seen emergency, undeclared emergency being imposed in Delhi. Democratically elected Chief Minister, democratically elected Deputy Chief Minister get arrested. And what is their crime? Their crime is that they wanted to meet the bereaved family to offer their help, to offer their condolences, etc. Now look at what the Prime Minister's police force has been doing systematically. They have been indulging in brazen, naked Gundaism vis-a-vis the Aam Aadmi Party. Today what you see is that they have done and they have meted out the same Gundaism and have assaulted the son, the son-in-law and the father of the ex-serviceman who committed suicide. My question to you and to all the people out there is, were the family members of the ex-serviceman committing any sort of crime? Did they actually or did their mere presence derail the medical services that was being offered in the hospitals and the medical institutions? What was the need to assault them, kick them, punch them and drag them? We do not want, and the soldiers of this country do not want selfies with the Prime Minister. We do not want photo ops with the Prime Minister. What they really need is their legitimate financial dues. The government of the day is not doing a favor to the armed forces by even promising OROP. It is a legitimate right. And what has happened today is that the Prime Minister's lie has been exposed. The Prime Minister has been lying. He lied on Sunday, on the Diwali day, when he said that OROP has been implemented as it was promised. Unfortunately, the truth is that OROP has not been implemented as it was promised. The ranks of our armed forces have been degraded vis-a-vis their civilian counterparts.
Let me get a BJP
the disability
response.
pensions of the armed forces has been cut. There has been a systematic attempt to demoralize the armed forces. And mind you, Nidhi, one last point. This is the same party that uses the success and the bravery of the armed forces to gain political mileage. They have put up posters in Uttar Pradesh saying that we conducted surgical strikes and therefore you should vote for the
Let me
BJP.
take what you
Do
said
the
to
armed
Shazia.
forces want selfies with the Prime Minister or such posters, or do they want their legitimate financial
Shazia,
dues
my
and
only
respect?
question is, why shouldn't political leaders of the opposition, why shouldn't they have been allowed to meet with the family of the man who took his life, of Subedar Grewal? What was the problem with that?
You know, I do have a problem with political leaders milking the tragedy that happened, but I do condemn the action of the particular officer or the constable who actually assaulted or hurt the relatives. As far as the political detainees are concerned, such as Rahul Gandhi and Arvind Kejriwal, they were there to milk this tragedy, and because they were rattled by the surgical strikes and they have actually retreated and backtracked, they decided to make most of it, and they literally served on this opportunity. But as far as the action of the police is concerned, I think it could have been done differently. I think it is a hospital. There are other patients there, but I think there was no need in the moment. So I will not defend the Delhi police. Now will I speak for it. And I do think that every action of every constable or officer taken on the spot in a sensitive situation after a suicide, where there is a certain situation is being developed, is handled every time differently, and maybe it could have been handled better. But as for Rahul Gandhi coming there and Arvind Kejriwal suddenly realizing that his emerging from Punjab elections and showing up, it was just there to make the most of it. I don't think there's any love for Subedar Grewal here. I think it was more to use, and imagine Arvind Kejriwal makes a statement on surgical strike. Even
Shazia, my simple point is, he's the elected chief minister. He's the chief minister of Delhi.
The idea was,
as Mamata Banerjee has rightly
lost ground
asked,
on the statement
Mamata Banerjee
and
has
made a
tweeted,
fool of
Shazia, one
himself,
sec.
where his bluff was called.
How can the elected chief minister of Delhi not be allowed to move freely in Delhi?
No, let me finish. You gave Raghav a lot of time.
No,
you must allow me a lot of time.
I'm only asking you. I am on one second. Let's not shout.
Let her continue, because she is criticizing Mr. Modi milking the army. I mean,
No,
please
I
read
think
between
today,
the lines. I agree with her when she says that. No, I agree with you. Mr. Modi should not go about spending Diwali on the border areas, bothering the army.
Why
no, I'm glad you and the posters in Uttar Pradesh.
I
absolutely support Shazia when she says that Mr. Modi should not be milking this issue. They should not have posters in Uttar Pradesh with the army there. I agree with you, Shazia.
Shazia?
No, Mr. Modi is not milking the issue. Mr. Modi has said very specifically and told all the ministers not to use it. But
Only
the fact was,
I agree with you again.
when the Bangladesh happened, when Kargil happened, the political executive, the Indian army reports to the executive.
Listen, Shazia, I mean, tomorrow I can turn around and accuse Nidhi of doing journalism on this issue. I mean, just as Nidhi can do journalism on this issue, political parties must articulate these sections. Political parties have to represent these issues. You cannot accuse anybody of politicizing, just as you cannot accuse Nidhi of doing journalism on this issue. That's our duty. That's our duty as political people.
Shazia, the point is, I'm only
why
asking
is rattled?
Nobody's rattled.
Should the Delhi Chief Minister be detained?
People who do not allow Rahul Gandhi to meet their relatives, people who detain the relatives of Subedar Sahab, they are rattled. They are rattled. This government is rattled. You are actually talking in my language.
One second.
Rohit Varmala, where there is a Kalavati, where there is Kanhaiya, you show up. That's what you do. It's a
I'm sorry, when Akhlaq was killed, Mr. Mahesh Sharma went to the person who killed Akhlaq. I'm sorry, union ministers.
We're all shouting at each other.
No, we are not shouting. Shazia, union ministers go to the killers of Akhlaq. That's forgivable. How can you accept that?
They go and support the killers of Akhlaq. They say they are innocent.
They go there and no, I'm sorry. You must apologize. That's incorrect.
They say that they are innocent.
They support the killers.
Okay, guys. Raghav, let me ask you what Shazia is saying. Shazia, one second, please. I'm requesting everybody really nicely. It's been a long day. Let's just take a breath. There's been a really tragic death. There's been a tragic death. Can we at least have a civilized discussion on that tragedy? Please. Raghav, what Shazia is saying, and it's not a wrong point, is that, look, when politicians go to the hospital or try to go to meet the family, it's not because your heart is bleeding, it's because obviously this is a political issue. She is accusing all of you of double standards, therefore everyone's politicizing it. I'm saying all of you are, even the BJP is.
Okay, so Nidhi, when Mr. Shivraj Singh Chauhan, by virtue of being the Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, goes to the hospital and visits the bereaved family of a martyr who comes from Madhya Pradesh in his state, then that is nationalism. If the democratically elected Chief Minister of Delhi or the Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi
You're drawing
meets
parallels
the
when none
family,
exist.
it is politics. Now, the Deputy Chief Minister of
Shazia,
Delhi
please,
did not.
let us
May I please complete? I never
when
interrupted.
A farmer
May I
was
please
killed in
complete?
your rally.
Can you please
When a
stop this
farmer-
cacophony?
Shazia, please,
May I
let me
please?
finish.
May I?
Please.
When you invited a farmer and prompted his suicide.
Shazia, you have to let everybody speak.
You have a farmer suicide on your hands.
Please calm down. Ma'am, please calm down.
One
Ma'am,
second.
please calm down.
Let me all speak one at a time. Shazia, please.
The same courtesy.
Shazia, please.
Because he did not give me the same courtesy.
No, you
Oh, you
are.
are.
Well, I
Thank
did
God
not
you're
even
not,
interrupt
Raghav.
once.
You can never be a Shazia.
I did not
You
even
can never
I don't think
interrupt
he wants
once.
to be a
Neither
Shazia.
am I
not
interested
even
in
interrupt.
Raghav, all right, I'm going to
I
bring
don't-
everyone else's
I mean-
mic down.
No,
If this is
sir.
how it's going to be.
May
One
I
second.
just
Raghav
complete
Chadha,
my
please
point?
finish your
He said,
point.
May I
Yes,
just
yes,
complete my
yes,
point,
yeah.
Nidhi, please?
Yeah, go
Yes.
ahead.
You know, I would appreciate if the person from the Saffron Party stopped shouting. Yeah. The fact is that it is the responsibility of the Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi to go and offer help to the victim and the victim's family. Now, in this case, the Deputy Chief Minister did not went to the hospital with 5,000 volunteers of the Aam Aadmi Party. He went alone.
Really?
He did not tweet. He did not inform the media. He went alone.
Despite
It is
requests
only then
from the
when
Delhi Police
he was
Commissioner
arrested.
not to
It
go
became
there.
a media skeptical only when he was arrested. So therefore, heavens would not have
He was
fallen
detained,
if
not
Prime Minister
arrested.
Modi's police would have
Don't-
let
listen, don't fool
the
us, he was
Deputy Chief
detained.
Minister
He was
offer his
requested not to
condolences
go because
to
it
the
was a
bereaved
sensitive
family.
situation.
It is high time that Prime Minister
No,
Modi
don't lie.
realizes
Raghav,
that his
don't lie.
Gundaism,
Everybody knows
his
that he was
tactics
detained
will not
because of the
fly with the
situation
people of
being
India.
sensitive. Okay, Shazia,
They must
please, let him
learn,
finish.
and their spokesperson must learn to not shout
Nidhi,
on panel
you're
discussions
letting this
because
man
they
go
only
and call all
expose
kinds of names.
their
No, one second,
nervousness,
It's
their
getting too
rattleness.
personal between
No,
the two of them
it's
because of
not
the
about,
history.
it's not
Now,
about
please
Shazia
involve
and
others
Rahul
also.
Chadha. Shazia, the point is very simple. Leaders of the opposition, it's not the first time politicians have visited families. The BJP has done it, the Congress has done it, everybody has done it. Won't you concede that this has been badly handled today? This story would have been a story in our bulletins today and a story on the front page tomorrow. It has become a full-blown political clash, and the conduct of the police is under question today. Would you concede that? Shazia.
No, I would concede this much. Where the political detainees are concerned, I don't really have much to say. But I think whether the family of the Subedar are concerned, because there was no discretion and they were manhandled, and the situation, I have a big problem with that. I think the person in the official or should take responsibility, and I think there should be action taken, because this is not the way you treat a bereaved family. As far as political detainees are concerned, Nidhi, it is a sensitive situation. Had something terrible happened or worse happened, you would have blamed the same Delhi police that where were they? They were not shown. Do you remember the farmer's suicide? Everybody said the farmer died while Arvind Kejriwal was making a speech. And everybody said, what was Delhi police doing?
It is
Delhi police
incorrect.
is there,
Nidhi, again,
taking
these
charge
facts are
and preventing
incorrect.
something worse to happen.
Okay, one second. Let me get Shazia.
Respect the law of the land for the time being and go later.
Well, the report says,
Nidhi,
may I
one
please?
second,
Since
Raghav, one second. This is not an AAP BJP war.
I'll take 15 seconds.
I'll come back to you. I want to get Shazia. Yeah, it's not.
But the reality is that
he will not be quiet.
The issue is not.
We've called his bluff.
Shazia, one second.
Shazia, please.
Yeah, one second.
We have all been hearing you. The issue today is the way the Delhi government, the central government and its police has dealt with the elected Chief Minister of Delhi State. I am not in favor of Mr. Kejriwal, I am not a supporter of Kejriwal, but this is not good for democracy, and the way they try to keep Rahul Gandhi out, they are giving opportunity to the opposition on a platter. This shows their weakness, and this is absolutely, this should be stopped, this should be denounced, it should not be allowed, because if this happens, then you cannot have a democratically functioning state. The way you are saying they are doing politics, I feel they are doing politics because they were afraid that this will be used politically, and the family of the bereaved will go and meet Rahul Gandhi. That will be a political issue. That will be a political issue. They stop the family, they put the family behind bars, they detain the family, they beat up the family. They beat up the family because they were coming out to meet Rahul Gandhi. That was the reason, and this should not have happened. This insult to the armed forces, this is an insult to the opposition of the country, this is an insult to the democracy in this country, and if you try to defend yourself through police power, then you are making a huge mistake. It's a double-edged sword. It will harm you much more than it will harm the opposition.
Let me get a last comment from you, Pawan, and then everybody else. Yeah.
It's for the government to decide whether they want Rahul Gandhi to meet the relatives or not, or Arvind Kejriwal. My issue is, why did they take that action against the relatives? That really hurts me as an Indian. I mean, forget politics. That we'll keep fighting politically with each other, and we'll do that. As a political party, we know what's to be done and what issues have to be raised. Why was this done? What heads will roll? And let's start from the beginning. Why did the defense minister not meet this Subedar? Why did it reach to a stage where he was so honored? And this guy has constructed a school for his village. He's absolutely in his senses. He is a socially very aware and enlightened person. How can you let him go like this? And why are we not discussing that? The fundamental issue is, why the suicide? Why was he cornered? Let's discuss all the rest later.
Well, General Kadian, I want to give you the last word tonight. What would be your appeal today to the Prime Minister and in fact to all political parties? General Kadian, that question is to you. Sir, your last comments and your appeal. Would you have an appeal to the PM and to political parties today?
Yeah, my appeal to the political parties is, all political parties are the same. They will find an issue to politicize it. And today is no different. This is clear even in our debate. Number one point which I want to make, somebody, I think Pawan Kheda mentioned, if the Prime Minister goes to meet the soldiers in difficult areas on a festive occasion, I think as a soldier, I have a feeling that they will be happy about it. There is nothing politicizing that or pampering the army. Number two part is that we are more than 20 lakh ex-servicemen. We have 15 ranks. If you take honorary ranks, it goes to 24. I do not know the details that we have to come out. Maybe Subedar Garewal had an individual problem. The government is a labyrinth. you first start with a cabinet decision, then the government issues a notification that goes to Allahabad, PCTA, they issue a circular,
Absolutely.
it comes to the
There's
head
just too
bank,
much red tape.
they give direction to the lower banks. It is possible that he had an individual problem where the suicide is even more unfortunate.
I'll take 15
And I think what
I'll take
is important actually is what Pawan said. The focus should be on Subedar Grewal. What led him to take this step? What are the problems, if any, with this implementation of OROP? And at the end of the day, though, it's become very much about the politics and the action of the Delhi police. But it needs to be much more about our soldiers and our veterans. Thank you to you all for joining us on this big story tonight. We'll be back tomorrow at the same time.